The story of solo leveling is some of the best written and most complex out there, but when it comes to Ashborn, he's easily one of the most complex characters to explain. Well, in this video, I'll try to break down everything about him, and we're going to tackle some deep questions about Ashborn, the Architect, and Sung Jinwoo, especially focusing on Ashborn aka the Shadow Monarch. So, what's the deal with the Shadow Monarch? Who was he, and where did he come from? Well, Ashborn was one of the rulers who fought alongside the rulers against the monarchs, but when the other rulers turned against the Absolute Being because they found out that he was using them as the source of his own entertainment, and they killed their own creator, but Ashborn remained loyal to his creator and attempted to stop them, but despite his efforts, they easily defeated Ashborn and left him for dead. As his injuries were fatal, Ashborn believed that it was the end for him, and he was prepared for death. However, before he could die, he discovered that the Absolute Being had hidden a monstrous power inside his body and promptly activated it, transforming himself into the Shadow Monarch. With his health fully restored and now even stronger than before, he went to see his creator. But he found out that rulers already killed him. Now we know that Ashborn wasn't originally a true monarch. He was actually a ruler from the start. But because of the Absolute Being, he ended up becoming the Shadow Monarch we know today. Let me explain. Over eons of warfare, Ashborn fought relentlessly on the front lines between the forces of light and the forces of darkness. His battle-hardened experience and overwhelming strength earned him the title Greatest Fragment of Brilliant Light, marking him as the most powerful among the rulers. However, when he was betrayed and defeated by his own brethren for trying to stop them from killing the Absolute Being, on the brink of death, Ashborn discovered a hidden monstrous power that the Absolute Being had implanted within him. This power transformed him into the Shadow Monarch, a being whose abilities far exceeded those of any typical ruler or monarch. After this transformation, Ashborn possessed the abilities of both factions. He wielded the ruler's authority and the monarch's domain. This metamorphosis was a key factor in his legendary status as the strongest being in existence. He wasn't just any ruler, he was the strongest among them, and when he transformed into a monarch, he became powerful enough to rival the strongest monarch in existence at the time. And yeah, Antares was insanely strong. Antares' strength was unmatched, making him a terrifying force feared by all. His most devastating ability was dragon transformation, allowing him to take the form of a massive dragon. In this state, his strength, speed, and durability reached unimaginable levels. His breath of destruction could reduce entire battlefields to ashes, leaving no survivors. Even Jinwoo's shadow soldiers were burned away in an instant. At one point, he was about to erase Igris from existence, but Jinwoo managed to save him just in time. He also wielded Dragon's Fear, a power that struck overwhelming terror into his enemies, paralyzing them with despair. With telepathic communication, he could command armies and strategize without speaking. His strength was so immense that even Jinwoo bore scars from their battle. Antares wasn't just a powerful being, he was destruction itself. Now let's talk about Ashborn again. This guy was first betrayed by his fellow rulers. Then, after becoming a monarch and siding with them, the monarchs betrayed him too. In simple words, both the monarchs and the rulers hated Ashborn. But what was the reason? First, from the rulers' side, when the rulers discovered that the Absolute Being didn't want to end the war between them and the monarchs, they rebelled against the Absolute Being. Ashborn tried to stop them, but they didn't listen to him and killed their creator. During that time, as we know, Ashborn awakened as the Shadow Monarch. His transformation led the rulers to hate him, and he also betrayed his brethren because he didn't want to kill his creator. That's why the rulers hate him. On the other hand, the monarch's reason is a little different and casual. They hate him not because he betrayed them or anything, but because they fear his terrifying power. His limitless strength made him a threat, and they also hated him because he was capable of turning their armies into his loyal shadow soldiers. Well, I'm not exactly saying that the rulers hated him. In fact, when Ashborn killed the Monarch of White Flames, every ruler bowed their heads to him, out of respect and because he was the strongest at that time. After that, he gave up all hope and chose to reside in his own dimension. During that time, he began searching for a vessel capable of wielding his immense power, but his power was far too overwhelming for any ordinary human to handle. That's when Kandiaru, or as we know him, the Architect, entered the story. He helped Ashborn forge a human vessel from scratch, but the Architect had his own agenda. He didn't want to simply create a vessel, he wanted to build a body in which Ashborn could fully resurrect. Let's see why the Architect wanted to find a perfect vessel. Kandiaru, also known as the Architect, created the system to find the perfect vessel for Ashborn because Ashborn's powers were too immense for a normal human to control. At that moment, the Architect told Ashborn that he would help him find a vessel, but in return, Ashborn had to grant him immortality. However, Ashborn was so impressed by Jinwoo's bravery that he started thinking differently. The Architect wanted Jinwoo's body to be the vessel for Ashborn, expecting that once Ashborn took over, he would fulfill their deal. But Ashborn had different plans. Instead of taking over Jinwoo, he chose to pass his powers to him, like his black heart with almost limitless mana, making Jinwoo nearly the new Shadow Monarch. This completely shattered Kandyaru's ambitions. Not only did Ashborn refuse to revive in full, but he also left Kandyaru to die, essentially granting him the very thing he feared most, mortality. Kandyaru then created the system, a tool designed to forge a human into a vessel for Ashborn, one that could withstand the immense power of the Shadow Monarch. His reason for creating the system was fairly straightforward, and we discussed it earlier. The system wasn't just a random video game mechanic, it was a tool with a purpose far greater than it seemed. Ashborn, known as the strongest monarch, possessed the power of both the ruler and the monarch. His strength was so immense that a normal human couldn't withstand it directly. To do so, he needed a human vessel, one strong enough to endure his power without breaking. That's when Kandyaru, the architect, told Ashborn about the system, which could choose a person as a player. The architect created the system to prepare this vessel, training a human through trials, quests, and battles, transforming them into someone capable of hosting Ashborn's immense power. The system wasn't just about gaining strength, it was about adapting to godlike power without losing humanity. But here's the twist. The architect had his own agenda. He wanted to revive the Shadow Monarch to fulfill his destructive destiny, but Ashborn had other plans. He chose Jinwoo, not to destroy, but to break free from the endless war between monarchs and rulers. Well, you see, Kandyaru never wanted to choose Jinwoo as the vessel for Ashborn. Kandyaru was given the task of finding a suitable vessel for Ashborn. He designed the system to find and prepare someone with great strength and combat skills. However, Ashborn saw unique potential in Sung Jinwoo, an E-rank hunter known for his resilience and determination, despite being considered weak. This difference in opinion led to a conflict between Ashborn and the architect over Jinwoo's selection. The architect wanted a vessel strong enough to handle the Shadow Monarch's immense power. He believed only someone with extraordinary strength could fulfill this role. Since Jinwoo did not meet these expectations, the architect opposed Ashborn's decision, doubting Jinwoo's worthiness. The architect's dislike for Jinwoo came from their different views on what made a perfect vessel. While the architect valued raw power, Ashborn believed resilience and determination were more important. This is why he chose Jinwoo, despite the architect's objections. In the end, Jinwoo surpassed even Ashborn's expectations. But Ashborn had different plans. He didn't just want Jinwoo to be a vessel, he wanted him to become his true successor. But why did he choose Jinwoo to begin with? Well, it's not that simple. We know both the rulers and the monarchs betrayed Ashborn. First, the rulers betrayed him when they killed their creator. Then, when Ashborn awakened as a monarch and tried to join forces with the monarchs, they also betrayed him. This time because he was getting too powerful. In all of this, he lost all of his hope and left both monarchs and rulers. Well, Ashborn deeply cared about life, and he really wanted to end the war. He was tired of the constant fighting and its high cost. He looked for a way to use his immense power not just to win battles, but to create an opportunity for lasting peace. In this context, his decision to pass on his mantle wasn't just about stepping down. It was about ending the carnage and creating a chance for a new era, one where the war might finally come to an end. In the end, when Jinwoo finally met him, Ashborn explained everything to him that he was tired of fighting. And finally, he transferred all his powers to Jinwoo and went to his fantasy world. We started with Ashborn, and now we're ending with him. I personally love this character. He's one of the deepest and most complex in the solo leveling story. Let's end this video with a quote from Ashborn for Jinwoo. "I am the record of your bitter struggle. I am the evidence of your resistance. I am the reward of your pain. I am death. I am eternal rest, and I am also terror. I am you."